What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new video. Today we're gonna be doing a prediction for the La Liga standings of 26-27. The league is starting today, but Real Madrid are gonna be playing next week. My point is, La Liga starting, and I'm really excited to see who will be where by the end of the season, and that's why I'm gonna be making a prediction. So we got relegated from 18th to 20th. Then we got lower mid-table is from 13th to 17th, mid-table from 8th to 12th, Conference League, number 7, Europa League 5 and 6, Champions League 2 and 4, and the champions. Ooh. I've already made a pre-list that I have here on OBS that I'm going to be looking at in the video, and I'm going to be explaining or at least giving some reasoning to why I placed them in those specific positions. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's go. All right, on 20th place, I have Levante. Levante, they barely survived last season. I'm gonna put the table up on the screen so you guys can see. They barely survived. Like, they got lucky as fuck. And when I think about how they survived, is they were not that good. But in the last kind of few games, last 13, 15 games, they locked in. And with the help of Carlos Espy, the new Real Madrid striker, who scored in 13 games, he scored in 11 of them. So in 13 league games at the end of the season, he scored in 11 of them. He was one of their main reasons on why they stayed up and why they are still in La Liga this season. But I feel like it's gonna be their end next season, and I feel like that is just a fair reasoning in my opinion. Levante are a weird team, but yeah. Then 18th, Malaga. Now, when you think of La Liga, I've never witnessed that peak, but when you think of prime La Liga, right? Prime Messi and Ronaldo, 2015, 2014. Malaga is like La Liga heritage, man. It's like what people call this team is just the team which was part of the La Liga BBVA and like La Liga Santanderes, back in the day. I've not watched them, but I don't watch La Segunda, but I just yeah. I didn't finish 17th. I've never watched them. I might have occasionally maybe seen something about them, but I don't watch their matches at all. And then I have in 18th. Let me look. I have Elche, man. Elche got fucking lucky last season. They tied on points with both Osasuna and Mallorca. They just had a better goal difference than them. The only reason they didn't drop out was because of goal difference. And I think they sold Rafa Mia and Andre Silva, I'm not sure, and maybe also changed their coach or something, and their best midfielder left. I've seen something with that, at least I've heard. So they've kind of lost some of their maybe key players who are really important last season. And yeah, I do see them. I see them drop out, because it's a I feel like it's just not gonna be enough for them. Now, number 17th, we got Osasuna. It's literally Elche, but like a different version. They tied on points with Mallorca, and the only reason they stayed up was because of goal difference, which to me is crazy. Mallorca cooked at like later end of the season, but then just didn't score enough goals. That's a sad way to go out, Osasuna, yeah, they did change their coach in having Raúl, the Real Madrid player, as their coach. He was former La Fabrica or like Castilla head coach or whatever. He coached at Real Madrid. And yeah, they lost Victor Munoz. They lost their like really good winger they had. So I mean, they still have Budimir and stuff, but I don't know how long he can keep going. till they will need to change him out. Then I have Alaves just above Osasuna. I think this will be a close kind of this right here will be this 5 team will be a close matchups between them, as well with Racing, which I also have them over here. Deportivo again, they also kind of got lucky in a way. They scored more goals, and I think they might have had more points than Osasuna and Elche, but I'm not sure. Okay, I am not sure on that. So I mean, I'll just put the table up on the screen so you guys can look at it anytime you need. So yeah. And Racing again, I've not watched La Segunda, but right before the video started, I think they won the league, like the second division, and won it. They got a automatic qualification to La Liga. So they really have to. Oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, to Malaga, they finished like fifth. They got through the playoffs, which they were also pretty shaky in. At least I've heard. All right. I've not watched their playoff matches and stuff. All right. I don't watch second division of La Liga, man. I don't do that. Then we have Sevilla. Now this might sound like a really controversial one, but I don't think so. I think Sevilla have been declining for some time now. They are in financial issues. They are in just big trouble most of the time, and that can damage them a lot. So, I think that they will definitely struggle a little bit, but I do see them finishing 14th, and this isn't really too big of a kind of discussion for me. I mean, everyone, if they watch La Liga, like if I watched La Liga for 5 seasons in a row, right? 5 seasons in a row. Sevilla had like 2 seasons where they finished a bit higher, then they just slowly declined and declined. Like at one point they were really close to getting relegated. Like they were like it was mid-season or something, and they were like 18th, but then they climbed up to like yeah, like 14th or something, and they survived. So yeah, yeah, I mean they're not gonna be in trouble of getting relegated, but they're definitely a bit lower than what is expected from them, I guess. So yeah, then I have Deportivo La Coruña, okay? Then I have Deportivo La Coruña here. Now, again, Deportivo have some sort of a like bigger connection with La Liga in a way, cause at least them, cause like they got really deep into the Champions League. I've not watched them because it was like in the 1990s, early 2000s and stuff. But like this is just my guess. They When I watched them against Real Madrid, they look good. That I can say. They look really good, and I also feel like it was a good opponent for Real Madrid to go for, cause it's just someone that is better. I feel like out of all of these new promoted teams, like between Malaga and Racing, they are the better ones. Yeah, my mic was not turned on for 18 fucking minutes. I've been sitting here and yapping about what I think and why, and my mic disconnected. Anyways, I put these teams here because they're gonna just be having mid performances, but also decent ones. Valencia's gonna be close to kind of getting outbeaten by Deportivo. I don't really care about them. Espanyol, they're just, oh my god, I'm pissed. I'm done. Getafe 7th because they just have their rumble in them, and they're just gonna cook. Betis and Sevilla, they're just gonna lose a bit of form because of the extra schedule and stuff. these three mainly because like Sociedad, they've been playing well. They won Copa del Rey. Their new coach is good. Blah blah blah. Atletico, just Atletico, they always finish third. Barcelona, them not having a striker might cost them against the lower block teams like Getafe or something where you don't have anyone to score a header with. So now we get to Real Madrid. Alright, my mic is connected. Okay. Why I have Real Madrid winning the league is following things. I think the way Mourinho wants Real Madrid to play. I've said this in my live streams, in my other videos. Jose wants speed in the counter attacks. Alright? I'm angry because I just lost like so much fucking progress. Um he has Vinny, speed demon. He has Diomande, another speed demon. And Mbappe, another speed demon. Point is, Jose, in my opinion, is trying to do 11-12 tactics, where he relies on counter-attack speed, where he plays a 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot of maybe, and it's most likely gonna be fed into Chouameni, but I would also don't really mind the Chouameni and Bernardo in a way, because having that Fede profile gives you box to box. You can run to the opponent and back to you to help you. Bernardo is that kind of a controller who can kind of get the ball, look around, pass, boom, boom. But Real Madrid has two fullbacks on each side. He has Dumfries and Trent and Cucurella and Alvaro. All four fullbacks are really, really good. Carreras is actually really nice. I really like him. Cucurella is just gonna be over him in the starting spot. Dumfries is gonna intertwine with him. In the preseason, I've seen him get played as the right winger. I feel like that's something to do with more defensive help to Trent, because Trent is not the strongest at defending, and can also kind of cover for Trent. If Trent is gonna go higher up the pitch into the midfield, he can drop down to kind of be that right wing back, that attacking wing back that Dumfries is or Trent is. And it's the same thing on the other side in a way. I do think the signing of Diomande will be a big one, because Real Madrid have not had a natural right winger since Gareth Bale. I'm like, oh, Rodrigo's. No. He has said many times he wants to play on the left, and I think Jose wants a bit of pressure on everyone so they can actually perform at their best, and if we're gonna come with that in a way, hope and stuff. We have Vinny, who had a phenomenal World Cup in the games he played. Then have Mbappe, who cooked in the entire World Cup. And then you have Diomande, who is an up-and-coming star, who, even though he didn't get that much GA, he, out of 20-something games he played, or something like that, he had 12 GA. Which for your first ever full season, after playing in the MLS Academy system and Leganes, that's good. And I've seen him in training, and stuff. We are gonna be seeing him tomorrow, when he's gonna be playing tomorrow against Schalke, if nothing's gonna happen to him at training or anything. My point is, Real Madrid will win solely, and here's also why. Carlos Espi. Wanna know why? This is the thing that Barcelona have. I'm not saying Barcelona are gonna be bad. I forgot to say this. I don't think Barcelona will finish second because they're gonna be playing bad. I do maybe have a feeling against the lower block teams they're gonna struggle more because they don't have a natural 9. Are you gonna play Gordon and Adeyemi, which I'm not like kind of making fun of them, but they are not that kind of height that maybe a striker would be more helpful with, having a Lewandowski or even a Rashford. If Rashford stayed, he would have been a good striker. They lost Ferran Torres. They left to PSG. the Hero goes down and stuff. He was in training with Dembele. He was there training, and uh losing that number 9, even though Ferran was bad and missing a lot. You saw him at the World Cup when he scored that goal. He had that moment, and it helped. He had a moment where he was in the box, Nico Williams headed it back, and then he just came and just bunged that shit in. So maybe losing that is gonna affect them attacking wise. Yeah, they still have Yamal and Gordon, Adeyemi, Rafinha, Olmo, etc., etc. But Real Madrid have Carlos Espy, which, let's say Mourinho will have the balls for, and I do think Mourinho will have the fucking balls for subbing out Mbappe in the 70th minute against Getafe, or a Rayo, or a Valencia, or a Osasuna. I do see him doing that. Putting Carlos Espy striker, or maybe even taking Diomande off and putting Mbappe on the right and Carlos at the striker position. I do feel like just having that striker, which is going to be helping you against those low block teams, because that is what he mostly got taken in for. Mourinho knows Real Madrid, and he definitely watched a few games last season of them. He definitely watched maybe some league games against a Celta Vigo, or a Getafe, or a Valencia, or a Sevilla, and he saw that Real Madrid struggles against lower block teams because there's no one to put a cross into. I'm not saying this Mbappe like I'm hitting Mbappe, but Mbappe is kind of dropping out of the box, and Vini gets the ball every time. Whenever we attack him, give it to Vini. Vini always creates something if he can, and then he just magically creates something where he puts a cross in the box, but no one is in there. Maybe Jude is gonna do that striker movement to go into the box, but that's where Mbappe should be. And Mbappe has scored a few headers here and there, but again, Mbappe doesn't. It's not a natural 9, but it doesn't mean he cannot try to implement striker movements, striker ideas, striker decisions into his game. It doesn't mean he can't do that. Anyways, short set. I have Real Madrid winning the league, and I feel like I'm not saying this is gonna be a really obvious one, but I do feel like they have a better chance because of Diomande. Because Diomande just offers that other surprise element. Because if you watch Real Madrid in the past seasons or so, when we were going forward, we always mostly switched to the left side when we started creating an attack. Yeah, we might have played the ball on the right side and stuff, but I mean, when we were going forward, we were always going mostly on the left. I never saw Brahim or something that often create something from the right. Everything came from the left side. Everything. Fede Valverde's second goal against City, it was that one. The penalty against Manchester City in the second leg came from the left side, where Vini caught inside, hit the post, blah blah blah, one of Mumet's handball penalty. Most of our chance creations and goal opportunities come from the left side. And when you have a player like Vini, fast, young and stuff, on the other side, on the right side, that gives the opponents a bit more kind of issues, because if they, like, opponents, Real Madrid was really easy to be read through. You always knew they're gonna play Vini. Vini is gonna dribble. He's gonna create something, get to the goal, and then create chances. Now, if you have a Diomande on the other side, opponents also have to think on the other side, because they know now, okay, this guy is good. This guy is techie. This guy has dribbles on him, just like Vini. So now, in a way, there's two Vinis on both sides, which they both have to control. So I feel like it's gonna be a close title race between Barca and Real Madrid, maybe even Atletico at the start of the season, maybe mid-season. But I do feel like Madrid will slowly just lose Barca, kind of trying to gapping them would be like by 2 points, then 5, then 6, then how many ever points, and maybe by the end of the season it's gonna be like a 5 point difference between them, just like last season. It was only like 5 or 6 points in between them. You know, Barca had 94, Real Madrid had 86. No, yeah, it was still a league lost, but it was not that big of a gap when you look at it. So that was my La Liga predictions. I'm pissed off that my mic disconnected, and that happens literally because I am that I'm not listening to anything. So when I don't listen to anything and it just sits and the audio receptors don't hear anything for a long time, it just disconnects. I didn't press on anything. So yeah. Thanks for watching this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.